Gather round, ladies and gents, for it's story time with Mr. Rice. I'm here to tell you about the time I passed out while skydiving. So I was fresh out of high school, not a hair on my face, in a hot boy summer more than a decade ago. I was working my little butt off at the local grocery store, as everybody else within a 3-town radius did. I'm not sure what came over me, but one day I turned to my fellow shelf goblins and asked them, "Hey, you know what would be a good old fun time? Jumping out of a perfectly good plane." And for some reason, strangely enough, they agreed. Now, something you should know about me is that I don't do roller coasters or anything like that. Hell, I can't even do swing sets because I get sick that fucking easily. Suffice to say, I am far from an adrenaline junkie. So after doing a little bit of research and asking my sister and her boyfriend at the time if they were as crazy as us and wanted to go, I found the perfect spot. We would jump in Newport, Rhode Island. Newport, Rhode Island is a pretty little coastal town famous for the cliff walk that gives host to historical mansions. I think one of them is known as the Breakers, but there's a couple other ones along that walk. And so it was set. I booked the appointment for a Saturday, reservations for 5, my sister and her boyfriend, my 2 friends, and myself, and it was about like $300 a pop. So the day finally arrives, and let me tell you, it was a hot one. If you've never been to New England in the summer, I gotta tell you, not only does it get hot, it gets humid as fuck too. It's not quite as bad as Florida per se, and definitely not as hot as like Texas, but it can definitely get pretty disgusting with the combination of heat and humidity. So 3 of us pile into my buddy Celica to head down to meet up with my sister and her boyfriend in Rhode Island, cruising down the road with just a lot of excitement. We arrive at my sister's place and, surprise, her boyfriend can't come. Yeah, great. Now, you're probably thinking, so what, not a big deal? But if someone cancels with less than 24 hours notice, you eat the full cost of that missing person, so you would have to kind of just pay for him regardless if he was there or not. So it kind of sucked because he would have paid for himself, and now we have to pay for him. Just kind of a dick move to cancel last second. But it's whatever. We're not going to let that yuck our yum, so to speak. So we had a few hours to kill before the fabled jump, and we decided it would be best to go for a little hike around an abandoned fort that was kind of close to the jump site. So we spent around an hour or so here, climbing up like ramparts and going through tunnels and all that stuff in the sweltering heat, and not so much as a drop of water for our little gullets. So as the time grew closer, we decided probably be best to go head to like a gas station or something and rehydrate, get some water and some Gatorade, get our bodies ready for this jump. We all quickly chugged our drinks, praising the Lord that the thirst we had has been finally quenched, and we finally started to make our way towards the jump site. So we arrive, we get checked in, and get told that because we don't have our 5th person, without enough notice, we have to, well, pay for a slot. But we'll give you a bargain. If 3 of you buy our video package for $100 each, we'll waive his fee. So they're still getting their $100, and we get a cute little souvenir, so to speak, that we can show our friends and families and prove that we are all batshit insane. So alright, we'll do that. So we pay for our video package and we get sat down to watch the mandatory safety video. It just kind of goes over like how the jump's gonna go, and basically just like a briefing of you're gonna climb to 12,000 feet or so, jump out of the plane, and then your parachute will deploy, blah blah blah. Just like safety stuff that they have to do for people who are new to this whole skydiving thing. But after we're done the video, we get suited up to head out for our dive. My sister and one of my friends go first, and me and my other friend are just kind of waiting on the ground, waiting to go next. And we watch them go up, and we watch them jump, and we're excited for it to be our turn once the plane lands. And the plane finally comes back to pick us up, and we pile into the plane with our instructors and make the climb to 12,000 feet in the air. Our instructors brief us one more time about how things are going down, telling us, alright, we're going to count to 3, and then we will jump. And they kind of strap themselves to our backs so we don't splat on the ground, because this is, our first time doing this, and we don't have any idea what we're doing. And so my buddy goes first, and I watch him plummet to the earth, screaming in excitement. Now it is my turn. My heart's already racing a little bit because, well, you're 12,000 feet in the air, and you're about to jump out of a freaking plane. And as I'm looking down at the earth from the edge of the plane, my instructor asks me if I'm ready. I'm like, yep, yeah, I'm definitely ready, dude. And he goes, 1, 2, and he just thrust us out of the plane. There was no 3. I was fucking scammed. Nevertheless, my heart was at full speed now, And as I gazed upon the beautiful coast of Rhode Island, my jaw was agape at how cool everything looked from above. I was thrilled to be doing this, well, so far at least, but I quickly learned that I shouldn't open my mouth to scream, because as soon as I did, my mouth became dry as fuck. With my ass hurling at the earth at terminal velocity, all that wind took any bit of moisture to be had in my mouth and just completely did away with it. The goggles they also give you to, like, while you're diving were just pressed upon my face with unimaginable force, which I guess is kind of a good thing because it would dry your eyes out, and while we were traveling at probably well over like 120 miles per hour. So again, probably a good thing to have those strapped to your face so your eyeballs don't get the same treatment that your mouth does. So after about 60 seconds of free fall, it was time to deploy the parachute. So the instructor pulls the cord and the parachute jerks us upwards with the harness tightly squeezing my genitals and pushing up underneath my sternum. It was at this point that I started to feel the full effects of the adrenaline that I'm definitely not accustomed to kick in. With the wind freshly knocked out of me and the bejesus squeezed out of my family jewels, as well as the overwhelming feeling of the adrenaline, I just straight up passed out. I woke up from what I can really gather looking back at it like a few seconds later to my instructor kind of frantically asking me, "Hey, Jake, you okay? You good, bud?" And then I'm just like, yep, I'm good. I'm really good. I wasn't. So I passed out again, I don't know how long after, but not too long after, bobbing in and out of consciousness for a few minutes each time, and my instructor asking me more desperately than the last if I was okay, and me stupidly being like, yep, I'm good. And then I would fall back asleep. So eventually, I just kind of knocked out for good until we reached the ground, and I have no really any recollection of how I reached the ground, but I just know that we did. And we landed, and I finally wake up due to the force of the instructor kind of somehow maneuvering my body that saved me from breaking both of my legs, so thanks, bro. But regardless, I wake up once we hit the ground, and I am dazed and confused without a Matthew McConaughey in sight, let me tell you. And I'm starting to panic a little bit, and so I just yell out to my instructor, "You gotta release me from this harness now, because I'm going to fucking puke on both of us." And I've never seen a man move as fast as that. He unhooks me, and I just fall forward, puking violently. Now, remember all that Gatorade we drank before? Let me tell you, my puke was pure blue, which is obviously the best Gatorade color of all time. But anyways, I lied there on the ground, writhing in agony, just vomiting more and more as my sister and my friends run over to see if I'm even still alive. And so after puking for what felt like a decade, I'm finally able to kind of stumble over to the building, and we collect our DVDs from our jump. Oh boy. And we get back to my sister's place and watch all of our videos. So finally mine comes up, all of us curious to see what the hell happened because of, well, my incident. And the video plays and everything's going good, look like I'm having fun, having a blast. Then the parachute deploys. After like a couple of minutes or whatever, maybe even less, you just see my body slump over. And you see me wake up a few times and slump over again each time. Now, the thing about this is, not only did they get an angle from the air, they also got one from the ground. And let me tell you, looking back at it now, the footage from the ground was absolutely hilarious. All you see is two grown-ass men falling from the sky, with one sleeping like a little baby who just filled his belly, and is one of those weird front baby carrier things that people wear. And god damn, I still wish I had this DVD because it's kind of a sight to behold. Just absolutely ridiculous looking. But sadly, I think it got left in my old 91 Dodge Shadow, forever lost to time. Or maybe its next owner has it and watches every once in a while for a good laugh. The world may never know. I hope at least. But anyways, that is the story of how I passed out and almost died jumping out of a plane. As always, thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.